Have you ever caught yourself hesitating before reaching for something on the top shelf, or suddenly feeling unsure about driving at night? Maybe you've had a moment where you stood in the middle of a room wondering, what was I doing here again? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And let me tell you, there is nothing wrong with slowing down a little, but there is something wrong when we start giving up small pieces of our independence without even realizing it. You see, after 60, life doesn't have to shrink. It can expand in ways you never imagined. But sometimes, without meaning to, we start holding ourselves back with habits that quietly chip away at our freedom, our strength, and our ability to do the things we love. This video isn't about fear. It's about freedom, about taking control of your life in simple, meaningful ways. And I want to share 5 things you might be doing right now that are slowly weakening your independence, so you can gently stop doing them and start feeling more in control again. Let's begin with the first one, and it might surprise you. It's the habit of saying, I can't, before you've even tried. Now, I know there are things we can't do anymore. That's real. But the problem comes when we assume we can't before we've even given ourselves a fair shot. Maybe it's lifting a suitcase, learning how to use a new phone, or walking an extra block. The moment we let that tiny voice say, oh no, I'm too old for this, we're not just limiting a task, we're shrinking our world. I once knew a woman, 72 years old, who had never used a computer in her life. She used to say, that stuff's for the young ones. But when her granddaughter moved overseas, she decided she wanted to learn video calling. The first week, frustration. Second week, still clicking all the wrong buttons. But by the third week, something changed. Now she not only chats with her granddaughter regularly, but she's also part of a book club that meets online. The truth is, independence isn't just about moving your body. It's about moving your mind. When we assume I can't, we stop ourselves from growing. And growth keeps us free. That brings us naturally to the second point, which is something I call the slow surrender to convenience. Now, convenience isn't a bad thing. We all enjoy something that makes life easier. But too much convenience? That's where the danger lies. Little by little, we hand over small responsibilities that once kept us strong. We stop cooking for ourselves because frozen meals are quicker. We stop going to the market because it's easier to have groceries delivered. We stop doing our own gardening, walking to the mailbox, or even putting on shoes with laces. And what we don't realize is this. Every time we skip a small task, we skip a small opportunity to stay independent. One of my neighbors, Harold, used to take great pride in maintaining his front yard. Nothing fancy, just a little hedge trimming and watering the flowers. Then his son insisted on hiring someone to do it all. It'll save you the trouble, Dad. Harold agreed, and for a few weeks, it was nice. But then he began spending more time sitting than moving, more time watching than participating. Before long, his energy dropped, his back stiffened, and he started needing help for things he used to do with ease. The tasks we think of as too small to matter are actually the ones that matter most. They're like invisible weights keeping our muscles, minds, and routines in working order. The trick is balance. Accept help when you truly need it, but don't let convenience become a slow excuse for letting go of control over your daily life. And speaking of letting go, this next habit is one many people fall into without even realizing it. It's avoiding new challenges because they seem unfamiliar. Let me ask you, when was the last time you did something for the first time? It could be as simple as taking a new walking route, joining a new class at the community center, or even trying a different recipe. When we stick too closely to the same routines, same conversations, and same comfort zones, we unknowingly build a little cage around ourselves. And the older we get, the easier it becomes to say, I've had enough change in my life. I just want things to stay the same. But guess what? Change is what keeps us mentally sharp, emotionally engaged, and socially active. Avoiding new things might feel safe, but over time, it actually leads to more dependence, Because when life does throw something unexpected your way, and it always does, you're less equipped to handle it. I once met a gentleman at a Tai Chi class. He was 68 when he started. Never done a day of yoga or balance work in his life. His first few sessions, a little wobbly, a little awkward. But a year later, he told me his balance had improved, his confidence had soared, and for the first time in a decade, he felt younger, all because he challenged himself to do something unfamiliar. When we take a moment to really observe how much of our independence comes from the choices we make, moment to moment, day to day, it becomes clear that protecting it isn't about doing something dramatic. It's about staying awake to the small things that, over time, make a big difference. And as we continue, there's another habit that often flies under the radar, quietly pulling us away from our full potential. It's something so many of us do without realizing. It's staying silent about our needs because we don't want to bother anyone. Now I know that comes from a place of strength, a lifetime of being the caregiver, the provider, the one who always managed without complaint. But here's the thing, when we stop voicing what we need, we don't become stronger, we become isolated, and isolation is the enemy of independence. Imagine this, your knee's been bothering you, but you don't want to mention it. You're worried your kids might overreact or someone might try to take over decisions you want to make yourself. So you push through the pain, you stop going for walks, you turn down invitations, and before you know it, that small silence has grown into a larger one. You're not moving as much, not socializing as much, and slowly your world starts to shrink. Being independent doesn't mean being silent. It means knowing when to speak up, when to ask for help that supports your autonomy, not replaces it. Whether it's a simple grab bar in the shower, a knee brace for walks, or an honest conversation with your doctor, it's not weakness, it's wisdom. It's how you stay independent by taking steps before small problems grow into big ones. I remember a gentleman from a community group who used to bring a folding stool everywhere he went. He had arthritis and couldn't stand for long. Some folks used to joke, "Here comes Jim with his throne." But Jim smiled every time. That stool let him join group walks, attend local festivals, and wait in line for his favorite food truck. He didn't hide his need. He adapted to it. And by doing so, he stayed free. So don't let politeness become a prison. Don't let fear of being a burden stop you from protecting your mobility, your health, your participation in life. True independence isn't about pretending to have no needs. It's about knowing how to meet them smartly and boldly. And finally, let's talk about something that might seem harmless at first, spending too much time alone without meaningful connection. Now don't get me wrong, alone time can be beautiful. Quiet mornings with coffee, reading a good book, tending the garden in peace. But when alone time becomes isolation, it can slowly chip away at your spirit. Humans aren't meant to be islands. We're wired for connection. Even a short chat, a shared laugh, or a walk with a neighbor can lift the mind, energize the body, and renew a sense of belonging. The problem is, after 60, it becomes easier to let social circles shrink. Friends move away, people get busy, or the idea of starting new relationships can feel daunting. But here's the truth. Loneliness doesn't just affect your mood. It affects your memory, your motivation, even your immune system. It weakens your independence in ways that are both subtle and serious. I once spoke with a woman who had recently joined a weekly seniors art class. She told me, "I didn't come here to paint. I came here to be seen again." And isn't that the heart of it? To be seen, to be heard, to feel part of something. Maybe it's a community center activity, maybe it's volunteering, or maybe it's just calling someone you've lost touch with. The form doesn't matter. What matters is the connection, and you deserve that. Not as a luxury, but as a necessity for well-being. because the more connected you are, the more supported you are. The more supported you are, the more confident you feel. And confidence is at the core of staying independent. So if your days have started to blend together, or if you found yourself turning down invitations out of habit, pause. Ask yourself, is this serving my independence or silently shrinking it? You've made it this far in life because you're strong, wise, and resilient. But no one is meant to thrive in isolation. Independence doesn't mean doing everything alone. It means making choices that protect your freedom, physically, emotionally, and socially. We've covered a lot so far. The quiet power of challenging your mindset, staying active in everyday tasks, embracing the unfamiliar, voicing your needs, and staying socially connected. These might seem like simple things, but they're the bedrock of a vibrant, independent life. You don't need a complete life overhaul. You just need to gently release the habits that no longer serve you. The ones that feel safe, but are, in truth, quietly holding you back. And there's one more important habit we haven't touched on yet, one that may be the most critical of all. Let's continue. It's incredible how the smallest habits can either protect our independence or quietly erode it over time. We've talked about the power of mindset, the hidden dangers of too much convenience, the courage it takes to try new things, the importance of asking for help, and how connection feeds the soul. But there's one final habit that often gets overlooked, one that can deeply impact not only how we live, but how long we live well. It's neglecting your body's subtle messages. Now, this isn't about obsessing over every ache and pain. It's about learning to listen, really listen, to the quiet ways your body tells you it needs care. After 60, things change. We all know that. Recovery takes a bit longer. Strength doesn't come back overnight. And ignoring something minor like a little dizziness, a skipped meal, or restless sleep can lead to bigger problems down the line. But here's the thing. Many people stop paying attention. They chalk things up to just age and carry on. They skip meals because their appetite isn't what it used to be. They stop drinking enough water because they're not as thirsty. They push through fatigue thinking it's normal, when it might be their body saying, slow down, regroup, nourish me. That kind of neglect doesn't just affect health, it affects independence. I once met a man named Robert. He was always on the move, sharp as a tack. But one day he slipped at home. Nothing major, just a fall in the kitchen. He brushed it off, didn't tell anyone, but over the next few weeks, he moved less. His confidence dropped. His independence started to slip away. When someone finally convinced him to get checked out, it turned out he had been slightly dehydrated, slightly anemic, and wasn't sleeping well. Each one just subtle enough to ignore, but together, they created a slow spiral downward. The body whispers before it screams, and after 60, those whispers matter. So make it a habit to check in with yourself gently daily. Ask, did I eat enough today? Am I hydrated? Am I moving my body even a little? Did I sleep well? How do I feel emotionally? This is not a list to stress over. It's an invitation. A reminder that your body is your partner in this journey, not something to fight or silence, but to care for like you would a garden. Water it, feed it, let it rest, keep it moving in the sunlight. And if something feels off, don't wait until it becomes urgent. Speak to someone, get support. You deserve that. You've earned it. Now, let's take a breath together. You are not weak for needing support. You are not less than for making changes. You are not losing your independence by admitting that some things are harder now. You are gaining independence by facing reality with strength and grace, and adjusting your life to keep thriving. Let's remind ourselves what real independence looks like. It's not about pretending to be 20 again. It's about waking up each day feeling empowered, confident, and capable of making choices that support your best life. It's about taking care of your body, feeding your mind, staying connected, and refusing to shrink yourself for the sake of comfort. Because here's the truth. You are the author of your story, no matter your age. So take the walk, even if it's a little slower. Try the new thing, even if it feels silly. Ask for the help, even if you think you shouldn't need it. Join the group, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. And listen to your body, even if you've ignored it for years. You are still growing, still capable of joy, energy, strength, love, laughter, and purpose. If you've related to anything in this video, take a moment now, just a moment, to think about one small change you can make today. Maybe it's drinking an extra glass of water. Maybe it's calling a friend. Maybe it's scheduling that checkup you've been putting off. Whatever it is, honor it. Because small changes lead to big results. And I'd love to hear from you. What's one habit you've changed recently that's made a difference in your life? Or what's one thing you're ready to stop doing to protect your independence? Share in the comments. You never know who your story might inspire. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more uplifting, practical advice tailored to living your best life after 60. This channel is here for you to encourage, inform, and remind you of the incredible strength you still carry within you. So here's to you, to your independence, to your wisdom, and to the beautiful truth that your best years aren't behind you. They're right here waiting to be lived. You've got this.